What's up guys, this is Sean and welcome back to the iherng podcast, and today we are going to answer a question from email. This is from Mr. J. Dear Big Brother Sean, I am Mr. J and have been watching your videos since 2023. Oh, very young. Very grateful for all the advice you gave in your videos. This will be a lengthy message, but I want to get your opinion on my first property purchase, like how to click the buy button. I am 27 years old, from Johor, currently staying in Malacca with my girlfriend. She is still a doctor at KKM. I am a medical doctor previously working under KKM, and I just resigned on August. Now I am studying a 1-year full-time master program and will finish around September 2026 as I want to venture into health tech and health data. I am also a property agent since 2022 to earn some additional income, but my property sales income stopped at 2023 as that time I was very busy with my hospital work. Right now I am unemployed, so I am more active as a property agent and expect to have income from my sales by the end of the year. Property will be my part-time job, and I am expecting to get an internship next year around June in a private hospital / pharma company. I have about a total of 100,000 in ASM and Versa, 110,000 in my banking account, so average is about 3.6 to 3.7% interest, and 60,000 in Bursa. I have purchased total of 4 stocks and 3 of them give about 40 to 50% dividend, and another 20,000 is S&P 500. 90,000 in an insurance investment scheme which I can withdraw in 2028 without any significant fees. My expenses: F&B, usually food court and zap fund only. Grocery, petrol, phone bill, road tax, insurance is about 1,008. Very grateful you don't have to pay for rental because you are living with your family. Zero spent in entertainment. Grateful to have your girlfriend as she is paying for some of the meals and groceries and gym facilities also. So in total spending is about 2,000 per month. I am a Far Capital client and my loan eligibility is about 6 to 700,000. But I want to purchase properties around 400,000, so my monthly mortgage plus maintenance will be around 2,000 to 2,005. I have visited some of the Far Capital inventories and others which is not under Far Capital, and all of it is around 400,000. My question to you will be, how should I make my decision? Because all of these are at different locations and I am not familiar with Selangor and KL. My intention of buying property is for investment and also to diversify at this moment, as I am not sure where I will be staying in the future and I am looking for cash flow property. My second question is, view or floor level really important, and does it affect rental or exit strategy, and how should I choose between under construction and near completion? My third question is, if you were to be in my shoes, how would you utilize the cash and diversify it rather than keeping most of it in bank account or ASM or Versa for about 4% in average, which does not hedge against inflation? Thank you and appreciate all your videos, and keep up the good work, Tylo. Waiting for more new videos and more deal or grill. Cheers, Mr. J. So thank you, Mr. J. Thank you so much for supporting, sharing all that detail. Just to get the context right? Young doctor, was a doctor, wants to get into health tech and health data, that's why studying now. Hustler, because since 2022, Mr. J here is a property agent, but income kind of stopped already in 2023 because still busy working as a doctor. Wow, you doctor, you property agent, walao eh, hustler lah you. And what's cool is you are 27 and you have so much money. Okay, let's just roughly calculate how much you have. About 100,000 in ASM and Versa. Okay, 110% in your account, so it's 210. Plus Bursa, 60,000, so in total 270. Another 20,000 is S&P 500, so it's about 290. 90,000 in insurance that you can withdraw in 3 years time. So in total, you have about 380,000 at 27 years old. No property yet, but you also don't spend money lah, so that's why I like more. So folks like you and me, we are very lucky to have a partner one. Legit serious, like imagine dating a whole day zap fun, whole day food court. Who want to be with you? When I go out with you, might as well go myself, right? So luckily, we are lucky, bro. We are very lucky. So everything, it's all sorted out. Just the total average is about 2,000 per month. So let's address the first question. He is a Far Capital client, and here he says LE, which is loan eligibility. This is one of the main criteria when you join Far Capital as a client. They need to know how much you make and how much loan you can qualify. Then they will suggest and pick the right projects for you instead of you trying to buy everything. Right? So it's easier to filter clients that way because they got a lot of clients. No point if your LE is like 600,000, you're going to look at the 2 million project. No point, right? But here I like that not only you check the Far Capital inventories, which is always very, very exciting, but it's also to do a reality check by going outside. So this gives you the best of both worlds, but it's also a problem when you do a lot of research but you are not familiar with the location, which is a total pain point. Here it says, how should I make decisions because all of these data are in different locations and I'm not familiar with Selangor and KL. The intention of buying is for investment, also to diversify at this moment. But I'm not sure whether I will be staying in the future and I'm looking for cash flow property. Time for Sean 4 basic steps. First step is to get the intent right. So intent, it's either investment or for own stay. Some you want to gabung together. We spoke about that many times already. Not in this scenario. So the goal here is investment, checked. Second, to look at your loan eligibility. So the team at Far Capital already calculated for you about 600,000 to 700,000. But you choose to stick with 400,000 plus. Solid, very, very safe. And kind of know the type of investor you are already. Then step 3 is you visited some. Look at the inventory from Far Capital and the normal market. Let's assume about 15 to 18. I would suggest to look a little bit more later once you get to know the roads of the location you want to go to. So this one not done. And step 4, making the informed decision and take calculated risks. So left step 3 and step 4. How to proceed? First of all, I agree that this should be an investment property, because you don't know where your girlfriend is going to be posted to, and it's always a problem, especially for those who serve in the government sector, right? When got shortage, they go where lah? Most of the time it comes with a promotion or some allowance, right? So it's always very, very lucrative. The best thing is you are getting the same pay just like your colleagues in KL while being located in a suburb location. So the expenditure is very, very low, spending is very, very low. So you get to build your wealth, save money and invest. So invest always, I would recommend in main city centers such as in Malaysia then KL lo, JB lo, Penang lo, KK lo, Kuching lo. Yeah lo, these locations lah. But the keyword that you mentioned then is you are not familiar with KL or Selangor. Too bad. Your best second choice will be Johor, and I'm not too sure which part of Johor you are from. The hot thing now is in JB, but if you want to go in now, also kind of complicated lah, if you know what I mean. Right now, with RTS coming into the picture, the area around RTS are just selling like true hot cakes, better than their banana cake, right? So now it's about 1,000, 1,200 per square feet already, and it's still going. And this is cooking up the rest of the addresses around JB as well. But why I say too bad is because of that logic that every fresh grad, okay, I assume a year we have about 300,000 fresh grad. Everybody after they get a degree, where is the first place that everyone wants to go to? Must be KL City Centre, where all the job opportunities are. And that's why for investment, I will always pick Kuala Lumpur. JB, if you are not familiar with it, right, it's very hard to tell you why now the prices is higher than some parts of KL City Centre, right? It's very hard to explain, but KL, the logic and the understanding, pretty straightforward. And that is the main objective of the property reviews. So before you even choose to drive up to KL and see for yourself, right? Look into the videos first. How is Maluri like? How is Mont Kiara like? How is Shah Alam like? How is Subang Jaya like? Then when you look into the projects that you are somewhat interested, right? What's important within the videos is actually the feel. Because when you go around, the numbers might not always be up to date because some of the videos are made like 3-4 years ago, right? But what's important is you get the vibe, you get the feel. That's the main reason why I don't do a lot of editing for the video. No point giving you nice video, right? But when you go to the real thing, yeah, 这么差这样远的 Why so much difference, right? And that is why also Far Capital is organizing a lot of tours, property tours, and this is physical. It means you'll go to a meetup point, hop into a bus, and they will drive you to 6 or 7 different properties within the address. So they just had one in KL North, then they just had one in around Cyberjaya. They are going to do one in Johor. So if you're a client, right, you can always join those. And I do support the intention of the investment aspect as well, which is to diversify. Now you are very heavy into money market funds, S&P, and savings and insurance, right? Technically, you are in the right position. Like personally, I think you are in the right position. Until you have a steady income, you shouldn't be buying properties. Yeah lah, you are rich lah, like you have 380,000 in total by 27 years old, right? You're solid lah, solid. But anything can happen. That's why within your profile now, in terms of liquidity is awesome, because suddenly if you need money, in 2 days time it's in your accounts already. Because some platforms like Versa take like 1 day, S&P, don't know which account you use lah, take a few days, right? By T2 or T3 only you get your money. Some is better, you get on your same day. But you get what I mean, right? Flexibility in your position. Also from a liquidity point of view, solid. But the research can still go on first lah. So I think in the moment, not much choice but to really come to KL and Selangor more often. Come here lah, bring your girlfriend to KL, eat some 18 or 25 ringgit nasi lemak, go and sit the LRT, go and see malls, see how crazy Mont Kiara is, how crazy Maluri is, how crazy Bangsa South is. Day trip also can ma. However, this leads to a very important point also, like for property investors, right? Okay lah, this one just theory, right? Just theory. Somewhat you need to be an outgoing person, and to a certain level you need to be okay with dealing with people. Only you can go far in property investment. If you don't like to drive around, go long guy, go and jalan-jalan, right? You go and see building, sampat, go and talk to strangers. If you don't like this kind of thing, right? Property investment might not be really for you lah. Yeah lah, 2 project, 3 project is fine. If you want to go far, right? The level of communication needs to be done on a daily basis is very, very high. And if that activity is very exhausting from an energy point of view, right, may I suggest to just stick with numbers and data presented on a screen. All I'm saying is that 2 to 3 property per person slot is still important for all Malaysians. This one, you can't really go wrong, can't really nego. But beyond that, right, don't need to think so far lah. As long as you get a home, you get 1 or 2 properties just to maximize your 90% slot provided by the government, good enough. Second question, does the view or floor level matter? As does it affect rental and exit strategy? Yes and no. Okay, it's about extremes. If my view face directly another condo which is like 30 meters away, then sian lah, right? There's literally no view lah. Then the best view will be in KLCC or TRX or KL Skyline, and that's the only view that matters so far. It applies to luxury products and Airbnb products. Okay, if you are within Jalan Ampang or KL City Centre, right? Tenants are paying premiums so that within the living room, the balcony outside, you get to see the Jagong and KL Tower and the rest. If that one don't have, at least you must have PME 118 or TRX. The best is if you have 5 lah. And this is reflected in the Airbnb day rates, is reflected in the monthly rent. Why? Because these are meant for enjoyment. This is a level of luxury for people who wants to pay for experience. That's why it matters. If the approach is based on cost, means like, I don't care about view lah, I just want the cheapest room, right? For those kind of project, doesn't really matter anymore. The same for exit strategy. If the project is an investment product that is highly dependent on how much the rent versus how much the installment, if the project is an 8% ROI project, right, the price will sure go up. You want to sell immediately, can sell. You don't want to buy, I buy also. Okay, if there's an 8% ROI. But for luxury products that is emphasizing a lot on lifestyle, those big units, branded residents, the rich folks will pay a lot more for the view that they want. Or should I say they will pay even more for the view that they don't want? Because at that level, right, all they want to do is to buy what they want. In terms of feng shui, in terms of my 八字, in terms of my view, I don't want this view, I don't want that view, I only want this view. So they don't necessarily need it as a home, so they buy ikut suka-suka. That's why it matters more. This is also the argument where a lot of people think that by buying a 3-bedroom apartment, right, will always have a better exit strategy, because moving forward, the only reason why people want to buy a 3-bedroom unit is for upgrades. So if I now couple only, I can stay in a studio or 1-bedroom, but when I have kids, I need to upgrade in terms of size. There will be more demand for big bedrooms. Technically, that's the Singapore HDB pattern. Doesn't apply to Malaysia. In terms of floor level, also the same. If you are in Mont Kiara, it matters a lot. If you're in Bangsar South, the same. Technically, high density areas, the floor level matters a lot. Why? Because when you have 2 towers together, right? You have 2 towers together like that, the shadow of these will cast over to the building. Then, to a certain extent, how come my unit whole day dark? It's because it's blocked. That's why in Mont Kiara, anything I think is above 28, level 28, right? Easier to sell. All the low floor one, either it's very close to the facility or it's very close to some private garden, right? If not, also very hard to let go. Next, how should I choose between under construction and near completion? Isn't it the same thing? Under construction and near completion. Okay, I just want to correct. Maybe you are asking is under construction versus completed unsold. 2 different things, because near completion and under construction, based on your question, is the same thing. So it's under con, or another way, maybe your question is, okay, the difference will be the duration of you getting the keys to the unit. Okay, why does it matter to an investor? It's about us trying to use the rental income generated by the unit so that we can buy our next unit immediately. Okay, if I buy a new project, baru new, apa pun belum buat, need 4 years. Okay, so I buy already, qualified for loan, congratulations, wait for 4 years. So it means if I buy in 2025, 2029, only I can get the keys, rent out the unit, then I declare the rental income and use it to qualify for my next property loan. Get it? So if it's a very near completion, meaning it's going to be completed end of the year, for example in year 2025, right? If I buy now, at this stage, developers will be a little bit more inclined to their desperate mode already, because once after VP, most bank valuation drop. It means if this is a 1 million property, and usually everybody who buys can qualify for 1 million. But once handed over, right, the entire valuation process gets stringent, gets really tight. So now for new buyers who want to buy, right, it cannot. The banks will only provide like 900,000 in terms of financing. So that restricts the sub-sale market. That's why most of the time for new projects, right after handover, the property price will slightly drop one. But that also varies in accordance to the location and the type of promotion and marketing packages provided by the developer. But the main crucial difference is I'll be in a better position in terms of negotiation, and I will get the unit faster. So instead of waiting until 2029 for my next unit, by 2026, I will get the keys, rent out in 2 months' time. Then with 6 months rental income, I declare that, show it to the bank, and I can use that as part of my calculation to qualify for my next property moving forward already. That's why for us, we prefer completed unsold and near completion products, because it's about time. And that's mainly because we are all trying to leverage on the property bull run now. This may sound crazy, but if you look into the rental data already, right, no joke. Yes, developers are all complaining about how SSTs are going to increase the property price. Good thing for a property investor. Then the amount of property launches for 2025 very slow. Good thing for property investors too, because the amount of supply goes down. Correction, the amount of new supply goes down, but the amount of people buying properties every single year, right, has always been consistent one. Then you combo that with the 300 fresh grads every single year that's coming into the city, right, we got enough room to rent. Right? That's why room rentals around Cheras, Maluri area is about 700 for a small room, 1,000, 1,200 for a master bedroom already leh. Wow, last time we talked about 400, 300 still got room to rent. Right now, don't have already. Oof. And I assume that is what you're trying to ask, because I thought it was between under construction and completed unsold. Okay, but technically it's the same thing. Like, it's about time to roll to our next property. That's why, in my example, my unit in Mont Kiara, if you guys have noticed, followed my Instagram, my tenant absconded, right? Down low, right? So because of that, I want to take the proper legal way to wait it out, just in case the flood come back. So now, in another few weeks, I get to clear the unit and get back the unit, get it sorted out and rented out. So a lot of people think that, hey yo, you see now Sean will lose money, lo? You will lose 1 or 2 months of rental, lo. That's not going to affect me a lot. It affects me a lot for my next subsequent buys. Because you are also in Far Capital, right? There's a deal in Mallory that I booked already. And I was waiting for this income, the rental income, that consistent 6 months rental income to be portrayed in my bank statement so that I can show the bank to qualify for the loan for that particular property. But because he didn't pay, he jiao low, this jeopardized my profile for my next purchase. Yeah, that's why I'm pissed off. Not because I missed 1 or 2 months time. That one already budgeted within the affordability metric. Third question. If I'm in your shoes, how would I utilize the cash and diversify rather than keep most of it in bank accounts? To me, you are doing great already. So I just think that maybe, okay, this is not financial advice because this is way beyond properties already. May I suggest, like, instead of S&P, some of you call SPY, I would try to conduct a study against Nasdaq 100. Because at your age, I think we can go for a little bit more volatility within our profile, but it's still long term. So you just compare SPY for the past 10 years versus Nasdaq for the past 10 years, you know where I'm going with this already. Then may I suggest also crypto, right? But that one, volatility even more. But you go and do your own study, right? Then you will immediately understand what I'm trying to say. Then for your banking account, your cash, right? You got 110,000 sitting there. Like, your monthly expenses is only 2,000 and you can go 50 months, which is like 4 years. Do you really need that much? But this closely relates to a person's safety factor lah. So some people see the bank account, right, less than 10,000, wow, kanjong already, shiver already, they not spend money, right? Then some less than 50,000 only can sleep. But for us, like, my bank account left 800 bucks also, still can look for property to investment, right? But I would say in the meantime, don't have to do anything too crazy, right? But do a little bit more study. Like just now, as we mentioned, study more KL slang or addresses, because that's still the capital city. Everybody still comes in for a property. Every rich people, where you want to stay, still Klang Valley one. Only a minority wants to live outskirts. Mostly for business reasons only one. If their businesses are not located within their hometown whatsoever, right? Everybody will always prioritize convenience one, which is in the capital city, right? Second thing, in the meantime, focus on your career. Whatever you set up, leave it there. Don't buy any properties before 6 months income from your new job. Yes, I understand that you have whatever money, right? But none of those comes in a form of commitment. Once you sign the housing loan, right? Rain or shine, single or married, I don't care. Every single month you have to pay for the next 35 years. Due to the geographical disadvantage that you have, you need to think also about management. Let's say if you're in a stage where, okay, you buy a property in Cheras, and you do something to the unit. Do you have people? Do you have contact? It becomes a hassle mentally if you don't like it, and that will affect your study or that will affect your work. And let's be real, also now if you want to buy, you cannot qualify for loan also, like, because you got no pay slip, and that will be my suggestion, right? So go slow in terms of the action, but go fast in terms of research work, because that's way more important, right? Back to the 4 basic steps. So now left the 20 different property research and making the informed decision. But all this needs to come after you secure a job more than 6 months time, right? And you are in a stage where once you settle down already, right, most likely the conversation about marriage will pop up. So be ready for that. So from your 380,000, right, maybe the investment scheme from your insurance, right, will be the expenditure for your marriage. Worth it one. Just in case she's watching this, worth it one, okay? But that's one entirely up to both of you. But seriously, thank you very much for sending in the email and explain everything in such detail. I am very, very happy to see, right, at 27, even without property, even without a very high paying job, you get to roll this amount of money. Most likely it's because of the property agent hustle that you're doing lah. And I like that you are not just like the rest that we have stigma about driving big car lah, showing off their lifestyle or traveling to Osaka, right? You save and roll all those in investment, which is a thing that I would suggest other property agents to do so. If you think about being an agent, right, for the first 5 years you're still trying and working things out, right? Technically, if you have a solid 3 to 4 years, every year you got a few $100,000, right? So by 5 years time, you will have about 1 to 2 million in your savings account, right? And if you roll the right way, like you roll here, the entire career will only be easier and easier and easier because you no longer need to work to make ends meet. Instead, you work because you like it. But everybody just pour down the drain for their brand new 5 Series or E-Class lah. Of course, not everybody like that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. For those who still have any question regarding real estate, do just email me at taniherng@gmail.com, or you can just DM me on Instagram, iherng, and I will see you guys on the next one. Ciao.